We are live. Welcome to the first ever How to Compute podcast.
Hello, I
Hello,
am Duo.
and I am K-Source. We're going to be talking about some stuff. We picked out 6 articles to go over, and then we might have a little bit more at the end. But yeah,
Who knows?
6 articles to go over, and then oh we wait, might I have should a little bit more.
Mute
Yeah,
this.
Dream. This is bad. Mute this.
Little things help make the world go
Okay, I'm
round.
just gonna close it. There's an ad. Okay,
Uh,
looks like we're good to go.
we are well and truly good.
We are awesome. Okay, so I guess we'll just look at the first article here. No, sorry.
Should I read the headline or are you gonna do that?
Well, basically, Steam users engaged over Intel exclusive content. in game.
Enraged.
Enraged, sorry. Yeah, basically what this article is saying is that if you don't have a Core i7, you can't play specific parts in this game.
Which only a small percent of gamers really do have, because an i5 is considered all you need for just gaming.
Yeah, and it's stupid because you can get some low-end dual-core i7s, and whereas you can get high clock speed quad-core i5s, and there are i5s that are substantially more powerful than a i7, and it's so stupid. Why do you need an i7?
I don't get. I mean, I understand that an i7 is a quad-core hyper-threaded, or at least the more modern ones are, and the i5 is I can understand it'll be more optimized, but outright not being able to run.
It's so stupid. Okay. Yeah, that's basically like I don't understand it. There's even that just means if you have AMD, you just can't use it whatsoever.
So effectively, you have to be a non-AMD person, which quite a large percent of people are still AMD people, despite the AMD FX chips being from 2012.
Yeah, AMD is they need a comeback, and we're actually going to be talking about that later. AMD has a reveal coming up on the 13th, and that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, so we have two things about AMD coming up.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so that's basically what the article goes over. And then after that, the company makes a statement. Where is that? I can't find it. Made an official statement. They said it's clear from your feedback many are not happy with the previous undisclosed modes being available only to certain higher end PCs. They said, you are important to us. We hear your comments. We are unlocking these modes immediately to all players. Hope you enjoy them. So, at least they noticed that it was a mistake, and they make an amend.
Apparently, the Twitch stream isn't working.
Oh, is it not? Okay. Let's reconnect to
According to
Twitch.
Pezels, I'm not sure if that is just his thing, but Duo's sound isn't working / leveled.
I fixed that.
Oh, okay.
It's the first stream. We're bound to have a couple issues. Yeah, Twitch doesn't look like it's working. Just go to Beam. Okay, so yeah, that's the first article. Let's go over to the I guess let's go over to the second one. I personally agree with what the company did, although I don't know why they did the thing in the first place, limited to only i7s.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yes. Well, anyway, second one is Samsung is gonna permanently disable the Note 7 as soon as next week, which I think is a very good thing. This was out on December 8th, so it was 2 days ago. So
Oh, this is the grenade that is open to the public.
basically, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's kind of scary that Samsung actually has a phone that does this.
Yeah, who knows if they might make the same mistake in the future. It's possible. They've done it once. It's possible to do it again, but people learn from their mistakes, so not entirely sure there.
Yeah, I sure hope not.
Because they apparently came out with a new sort of battery like a new sort of battery or a new sort of model of phone which replaces Samsung Note 7, which was a newer Samsung Note 7.
And it still had issues.
Yeah, and it still blew up in people's faces.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt the company's name too, because I had issue. Well, I was giving someone advice on a phone, and they said straight off, "I don't want a Samsung because they explode." Just because they weren't tech savvy, they just assumed that if one Samsung has issues, they all do. So it's gonna really hurt the company's name.
Quite the percentage of phone users aren't tech savvy, so
Yeah,
that's gonna put quite a scar on their reputation.
definitely, yeah. Yeah, it's much different than, say, computers, where people typically know what they're doing for the most part if they're into building computers. But with phones, it's just everyone has one, and lots of times they don't know a thing about their phone aside from the fact that it's fast.
Okay, just reading down the thing, trying to look for when, as of December 15th. Okay. So, disabling it in 5 days.
That is, yeah, that's...
It's gonna suck for people who's bought one, or are they... I'm assuming they're probably gonna be refunded.
Sure hope so. I actually heard that they're going to be swapping it out for a S6, no, S7 Edge, so that would be good.
Yes.
Still pretty sad that this issue actually happened in the first place, though.
I don't see how they can make the same mistake twice, like directly after each other when they've had ages of no issues in terms of exploding batteries.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird situation all the way around. I don't know how this got past quality control.
No, I would assume it's a very rare occurrence. Or at least it was.
Yeah. Oh, Tesla's just said, though I don't think you deserve a Samsung if you think every Samsung explodes just because one of them did. Oh, man.
You're saying that to the person who has a Samsung phone.
Yeah, I have a Samsung as well. Oh, man.
Better than Apple, at least.
Yes, you can't get worse than Apple. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Lowest of the low.
Okay, well,
I like Samsung for their SSDs, and that is about it.
they do
I
have good
don't
SSDs.
own a
I can
Samsung
testify for
SSD,
that.
so... But I'm assuming they're going to be the same as any other SSD.
They are. They have typically pretty good read-write speeds. I know they're known as probably the best for like NVMe M.2 SSDs. They make some insane fast ones. But they're also near the high end when it comes to price as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on to the...
We're moving through these quickly.
We are. There's not much to talk about. We might need to get a couple more. Next one is South Korea cracks down on cheaters. And basically, this one, the idea behind it was it's like game modding has become illegal in South Korea.
So basically, any mods or any form of modding.
Yeah. Oh man, it's frustrating.
Video
Yeah.
game hacks and modifications. So one of them is good, the other one isn't. I mean, I've never used mods myself or never had fun using mods myself, but that's gonna really suck for pretty much the whole of South Korea who like modding.
Yeah, and it depends how far of an extent they go to enforcing this. Like if you can actually get in trouble for just downloading a mod, such as like a aesthetics mod or something, it'll be very, very bad.
I'll get done for downloading the shaders mod.
Oh yeah, it'd be awful.
Did it say something about single player or multiplayer?
I don't believe so. It just says Shutting down
This
video
could
game
deter
hacks and modifications.
would-be hackers from cheating programs explicitly for cheating. The somewhat ambiguous act of outlawing any program that violates the terms of service has some League of Legends and Overwatch players worried that non-malicious mods could be caught in the crossfire. So you can't use mod for personal... Jeez, that's a harsh fine. 5 years in jail or roughly $43,000 in fines.
It's just for downloading a mod, which people do all the time.
Oh god.
That is, I mean, I understand enforcing it, but that is just going over the top.
Enthusiast modders, they're gonna be coughing up a lot of money.
Yes, that's for sure.
This article is pretty short.
Yeah. I would definitely say it's not a good thing for like the openness of PC gaming. That's one of the things I like about it so much, is how open it is to modifications and changing stuff around. Like in
Yeah, it's very vague. I mean, do they mean all mods or just the mods that give an unfair advantage?
if it's all mods, that would really suck, because that's one of the things about PC gaming that is just so cool. Stream is vibrating apparently.
I don't see any form of vibrating.
Let's look. What are you watching it on? Beam or YouTube or?
Mine is fine. Okay.
Should be fine. Oh, I'm streaming 60 FPS. Did not know that. Okay.
I've noticed for a while. It looks pretty smooth.
Pretty smooth. You can see my mouse cursor in the full 60 FPS glory. Actually, I don't have my cursor enabled.
Brilliant.
You can see me scrolling in 60 FPS there.
You don't realize how smooth it really looks until you see you not controlling it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming we just move on now.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, this
Okay.
this one makes me mad. This one makes me pretty mad.
Oh, this is the Kaby Lake exclusive one, isn't it?
Basically, so Netflix has had 4K streaming for a while. It's been on like I assume it's on the new Xbox One S, and it's on some 4K.
Okay, this
Blu-ray
is
players
just
and stuff.
ridiculous. Requires Kaby Lake? I mean, I could understand, like, but it wouldn't even be that intensive, I wouldn't have assumed.
No, well, the reason it requires Kaby Lake is Kaby Lake has some special hardware decoding. But the stupid thing is, you don't need that hardware decoding, because you can still watch 4K videos on YouTube with any CPU.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, even, like, their Pentium, the Kaby Lake Pentium.
And the
I
funny...
mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
I can understand if it has, like, different optimizations. Tezel's Kaby Lake is 7th gen Intel, releasing first quarter of 2017, I think.
Something like that. I think it's going to be competing with Zen. But yeah, it's so stupid. Kaby Lake has a special way to decode videos that Skylake and older CPUs don't have. But the stupid thing is, the new NVIDIA graphics cards, the Pascal graphics cards have that too, and they just don't care. They're like, no, you have to use Kaby Lake. It's so maddening.
They're strongly against any form of AMD stuff.
Yeah, it's very, very...
I don't get what's different, because pretty much most, even low-end CPUs can stream 4K YouTube videos. It's all dependent on internet connection.
Yeah, exactly. It's very... That didn't make me too happy, because it makes no sense. YouTube, you can do 4K just fine, but Netflix apparently needs this hardware decoding. It's very stupid. And the funny thing is, you can do it perfectly fine with the 1080 or like 1070 or anything like that. You just can't, because they don't let you.
I thought something like that would be more GPU bound.
Yeah, I would have too, to be honest. Just give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go close my door.
Okay.
It's a very,
Hello.
very frustrating thing anyway. I totally don't agree with this. They should change it because it's so stupid.
It would really suck for those who want to do it, but then they just bought a 6700K
Exactly, yeah.
or an i7 6950X.
I don't think your CPU choice should affect your ability to watch Netflix. That sounds really pathetic when you put it that way.
And apparently, Windows 10, yeah, that's understandable. And the Edge browser, those two are understandable. Those are very doable. But Kaby Lake,
No. I don't understand this one. Now there is a couple Kaby Lake CPUs out in laptops, but they haven't released any desktop stuff.
if I remember
But
correctly, the
still.
7500U.
That sounds right. I think that's it. Yeah. Very very aggravating anyway.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just quickly skimming through to see if they. We should probably read these beforehand.
Probably should. I know what they're about. I haven't looked through the two you sent me. This one with its ads.
So it's due to some sort of Kaby Lake optimization.
Yeah, there's like encoding stuff, kind of like NVIDIA has its hardware encoding on its GPUs, much the same with encoding on the Kaby Lake CPUs. It's still, I still don't really understand why it has to be
You're on the
that
Zen.
way.
You were on the Zen article.
Yeah. I don't understand why it has to be that way, considering there are graphics cards that can do the exact same thing. And there are software that can do it the exact same, and you don't need specific hardware. Like, yeah, with YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not all that. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess moving on to the next one.
Yes.
Okay, so this
Go
one
away, yeah.
is, I'm actually excited about this one. This one is AMD's their Zen. They're announcing Zen in the 13th, which is 3 days away.
Finally, some positivity.
I actually, how do you think Zen will be?
I'm not really sure. I was initially gonna go for Zen, but then I ended up getting a Skylake CPU. But I think it would be pretty competitive to Intel's new or modern CPUs.
I
Because
think
if you think about how the AMD FX series went, they must have been pretty impressive when they first released to still be competing nowadays, or at least have quite a big market share nowadays.
Well, from what I've heard, back in the day when AMD released their FX series, they were ahead of Intel, but then Intel sort of caught up at a faster rate. So I think what's going to happen again is they're going to be very close to the Intel CPUs now, but I think they're going to kind of get stuck behind because I feel like Intel has more stuff in the works. Well, this is AMD's newest, greatest thing that they're working on right now.
Apparently, it's pretty close to one for clock comparison was pretty close to the 6900K, only just exceeding it.
That is pretty good. If they can compete with the 6700K, that would be amazing. That'd give more
Yeah,
competition.
but that's
and
Broadwell,
lower-
which is more focused on more cores rather than powerful IPC.
Yeah, well, either way, even if they give Intel a little more competition, just to give them a little bit of motivation to keep going, lower their prices, get more competitive prices, to be good for the consumer as a whole. I really don't want AMD to do bad on this. This is like their last chance to do good.
As an AMD fanboy, I can safely agree.
I've never actually had an AMD CPU, and I wouldn't say I'm a fanboy towards one. I do hope AMD does good, but it's just sort of worked out that I've gotten Intel and NVIDIA stuff.
I've owned three Skylake. No, not three Skylake. One Haswell, two Skylake, and one Vishera. So that Vishera one being the FX 6300.
I have sort of been an Intel fanboy. I've had both my laptops have had Intel. One was like 3rd gen, one was 6th gen. And then my desktops had a 1st gen i7 and then a 6th gen i7.
Yeah,
So-
I've had one Intel HD graphics and then three AMD GPUs. So, but I've never had an Nvidia one. So I guess I could say I am for the most part AMD.
I probably would have like an AMD card right now. The only reason I stayed away from it is the encoding and recording stuff you can do with the NVIDIA GPUs. It's really impressive that you can encode in such high bit rates with like seriously no performance hit.
Hopefully, their single core performance will go as planned, or at least live up to what that benchmark showed.
Yes. I also wonder how hot they'll run because I know FX CPUs were notoriously hot.
They were released 4 years ago, so I would assume efficiency would have improved. It's the same with their Radeon GPUs, which they still make yearly on a yearly basis. They got their Polaris cards are now really efficient.
They are, yeah. And
New
another ad is
Coca-Cola
playing
Life.
here. Let's
Great.
pause that. Yeah, no, I agree. They've definitely gotten better. They still are closer to the hot end than Nvidia, but they have gotten better, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I've always known that it's been a struggle to cool the FX CPUs because they're not worth a whole lot. So if you're investing lots of money into a cooler, soon the cooler costs half as much as your CPU did.
Yeah. Their stock coolers were abysmal.
Yes, very much. They're very loud.
It makes an Intel Skylake stock cooler seem super quiet.
Luxurious, eh? I've actually
So-
never used stock cooler on my Skylake. It didn't come with one. But stock coolers they are good, but they're not that great. I've used a stock cooler on a 4790K. You played with one of those. Yeah.
Wait, I thought ones with unlocked multipliers didn't come with a stock cooler.
Well, back in the 4th gen, and well, the enthusiast CPUs never have, but 4th gen Intel, every CPU came with a stock cooler. It's new that they don't.
That was one of my main incentives for not going for a 6600K, because I was like £5 off, £5 off from what I bought, or £5 left over at least.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How to compute? I guess that's Lolly. He said
I just hope Zen brings the price of more cores down. Well, they did with AMD FX. You paid like £140 to get an 8-core AMD FX 8350.
But the cores were awful. I hope they bring the price of good enough 8-core and 6-core CPUs to like a more affordable level. Even if they're slightly worse like IPC or clock speed, even if they're just like decent cores, that'd be really good.
Yeah, I remember my FX 6300 was like £12 per individual core. But the single cores, I couldn't do encoding. My Minecraft FPS wasn't great at all.
Yeah, low power more core CPUs really don't have a place because even in video editing, I know Premiere Pro kind of caps out its usability at like 10 cores or like 8 cores. I won't use much over that.
Except for gaming, Battlefield 1 uses it relies on lots of cores rather than the strength of the individual cores. So that's why, for the minimum requirements, they have a 6350 on the AMD side, yet a 6600K on Intel side.
That is really weird. Yeah. Typically,
And
though, if I was recommending a CPU, I would recommend lower core count, higher clock speed, much like your second PC, which has a dual core, four thread, sorry.
it was a
at-
dual-core hyper-threaded i3 6100.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like very high clock speed, 3.7, I think, which is very, very good. That's better than
3.7 gigahertz. Yes.
a stock 6700, I think, the non-K version.
My 6500 has 3.2 gigahertz base, and then it boosts up to 3.6. So when it needs to, it will get more powerful.
Oh, thank you, Lolly. Lolly just linked an amazing article that I've been wanting to talk about.
Okay, so should we move on, or are we gonna keep talking about this?
I think we've kind of covered this topic. Let's move on.
Yeah, we've sort of beaten it to death.
This is another thing I'm really excited. I'm really excited about new hardware. That
Oh,
gets
yeah,
me
the-
excited.
I heard about this, the i3 7350K.
Yes. Let's talk about the RX 490, and then we'll go into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, there's been some benchmarks that show up RX 490, which I think is pretty amazing. It does really good.
Apparently it's pretty close to a 1080.
Which would be very impressive, actually.
It's
Eight-
quite a big leap from RX 480 as a 1060 equivalent to RX 490 as a 1080 equivalent.
It really is. I don't think it will. I think it'll be closer to a 1070 if we're being honest.
Still more competitive than before, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, that is a very good thing. And here they say it will include 16 or 8 gigs of HBM2, which I don't believe at all. I know HBM2 is better than
I mean, apparently
DDR5.
it's a dual
GDDR5.
GPU from what I've heard. So it'll have 8 gigabytes VRAM shared, or like
Shared
either side.
between the two. Okay, that makes much more sense. So it'd be still an 8 gigabyte card, but it'd use SLI, which really turns me off instantly. Lots of the games I play just straight out don't support Crossfire or SLI. So I this would not benefit in lots of games, and in other games it'd be great.
4-way crossfire.
Ew. No. Nvidia actually
What would even
disabled
support that?
4-way SLI because it's so bad. I watched a video the other day. They had 4 Titan XPs and it actually performed worse than 2 Titan XPs because the bad
Oh, wow.
optimization with SLI.
So basically, 4,800 US dollars performs worse than 1,200 US dollars.
Basically, it was like so bad. They couldn't even play most games.
So basically, it was worse than the worst price to performance than the Quadro P6000.
Well, for like rendering and stuff, it was all right. But for games, it just was not having any of that.
It was quite close to one of the Titan X's from what I remember, but it was like 4 times the price.
Yeah, and it had lots of like frame skipping issues and stuff. Yeah.
I can happily say NVIDIA micro stutter.
I hope this dual GPU card does well, because I know in the past, both AMD and NVIDIA have had struggles selling the dual GPU cards.
I think that AMD wanted to get the power usage on their cards down and then push out a powerful card, says Headclot. Yeah, I think that may be what they're aiming for, considering what they claim to be a huge leap.
Yes. The whole dual GPU thing turns me off. Like back the Titan Z, that did awful. NVIDIA lost so much money on that card, and then the dual GPU Fury card, what that one was called, I don't think that one did very well either, because it was so big, so hot. So if this one stays cool, it might be a good option if people are building a PC right away rather than going Crossfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, the RX 490 will have 24 teraflops.
That is huge. How much does
To
the
put that into
1080 have?
perspective, the Pascal Titan has 11 teraflops, I do believe.
Oh wow. So I know this is all rumors, and I think typically on
It may
rumors
be
they exaggerate
inflated,
it as
yeah.
much as they can.
So it was probably they probably cheated a bit to get it to be able to say that. But
Probably.
I hope not.
Kind of like, well, both companies are guilty of this. Like Nvidia did the whole GTX 1080 is better than Titan X or dual 980 and SLI, which it is in some situations. And it said it was, what did they say? They said it's better, twice as good as a Titan X in VR, which it is in VR, but in nothing else is it twice as good as a Titan X. It's marginally better than a Titan X.
I remember that AMD did that with their RX 480 release with the saying Crossfire RX 480 can beat a 1080, which it can in Ashes of the Singularity,
Which is a very
but they were
AMD
very
optimized
vague with
title.
it. And then people automatically assumed that an individual one was as powerful as the 980, but it just turned out to be midway between the 970 and the 980.
It is it's upsetting when both companies exaggerate to a point where you really can't trust their word on performance. You have to look at the reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Well, I guess should we move on to our last article?
Sure. Wait, last one already?
Yes.
Oh wow, that was quick.
Well, we've been streaming for nearly 35 minutes already though.
Oh, time flies.
Yes. Now this one I saw and I was just like, whoa, I love this one.
This would be revolutionary to budget overclockers, because I know the Pentium G3258, it has an unlock multiplier.
Yes, I think they actually Intel tried to remove that and they sort of successfully did. There are a couple workarounds for that. But yes, the G3258 could you could get 4.5 gigahertz easy on a not that great cooler just cuz you're only overclocking 2 cores.
Then what if you got a liquid cooler? Then maybe you might be able to push it to 5 gigahertz if you're lucky.
Yes. Or actually, when Skylake was new, there was actually an issue that motherboard manufacturers found. I think it was, I don't want to say. One of the motherboard manufacturers found it anyway. Basically, you could overclock non-K Skylake CPUs with just a BIOS update. And that was going
I know
around
Science
for
Studio
about,
milked that and made 3 videos on it.
yeah, that was going around for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months, and then Intel's like, no, we don't want this. Please update a new BIOS that disables it. So that was basically how that went. There was that for a while, and they overclocked amazing because they weren't that hot. So, I know you can buy an i5 6500 and sometimes get the same performance as a 6600K.
Yeah, you can backdate the BIOS, I believe.
I know there is a way, although I know a lot of stuff in Windows 10 itself also prevents that. But it is possible. It's just very, very difficult.
Yeah, so in theory, I can get the 3.2 gigahertz base clock up to... I find it difficult to say, but I could definitely probably get it up to the base clock of the 6600K if I did that sort of stuff.
Probably, yeah. That would be... That's a huge thing. But anyway, this new i3, it's going to be a dual core 4-thread, kind of like your i3 in your second rig. Base clock of 4 gigahertz. That's the same speed as a 6700K. That is
And apparently
huge.
the 7700K has a boost clock of 4.4, base of 4.2.
This CPU will be unbelievable for budget gaming. Is all I can think right now.
But then it will act like a potato in games such as Battlefield 1 because, of course, cores. But regardless, this will be amazing for many games which don't need more than 4 threads.
It really will be. And to give you some perspective, it is half the price of a 6700K. So it is, if you don't need all 4 cores, if you're doing something that utilizes very low amount of cores, such as Minecraft, but you want extreme FPS, this is
So
the thing
you'll
you'd
be
looking
saving
for.
$120 on
Yes.
better performance.
Yes. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. This is probably the thing I'm most excited about for Kaby Lake, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Not
It's
'cause
staying
I
on
want
the
one.
14 nanometer lithography.
It's because it's not because I want one, but it's because I'm excited to see how they go.
Yeah, I remember a comment from one video saying the smallest node was 5 nanometers, which is why they're being really slow with making the nodes smaller. So that's why this current gen is 14 nanometers, and then I think Cannon Lake will be 10 nanometers.
Okay. Even looking at the 7700K they have down here and the 7600K, that sounds weird to say, but anyway, the base clock of the 7700K will be 200 megahertz better than the 6700K, and a boost clock of 4.5, which is just ridiculous.
And it's going to be priced $50 more than the 6700K.
So is it worth it? I don't really know. It's the same socket, which is really nice. You can just...
I mean, I'm assuming that was the same starting price that the 6700K took on release.
I'm guessing. Yes, it was. I just put it in a dollar converter, and that's how much my 6700K cost me. Because I actually got mine as it released before stock was very plentiful. But anyway, yes, I am very excited about this overclockable i3. I'm excited to see the good budget rigs you can get from this with the new AMD RX series and this. You can get some really good PCs for not all that much.
I know. Apparently, the RX 460 is a GT 1040 equivalent, or at least that's what I estimated.
GT
Whether they'll release...
1040.
Yeah, it's not out yet, nor has it been announced. But I'm just making estimations, and based on what I've seen, it will be roughly a GT 1040 equivalent if they ever decide to release a 1040.
Yeah, they might. I know they're the AMD like 1050 Ti have been very good value because it's essentially like a 960, but it's very low power usage. And if you have a pre-built, you don't need to upgrade your power supply because it doesn't need an external power connector. It only uses
Yeah,
the
I'm not sure about the 1050,
stuff
but
on
I
the
certainly
motherboard.
know the 1050 Ti is.
I'd assume the 1050 is because it's lower power usage, but yeah, I only know for certain about the 1050 Ti. Yes, and by the way, Lolly, try to not chat with the restream because you keep chatting like 3 times. Thank you.
Oh yeah. I didn't realize that. Okay, so where were we?
Basically, yeah, we were talking. Basically, you can get a really good PC now for not all that much. I know. You can get a GPU that's equivalent to 970 for half of what I paid for mine only like 13 months ago, which is just very, very shocking, actually.
I think I don't need to upgrade my R9 380 for a while. It's holding up pretty well, but I'm assuming it'll be way less valuable. When I got it, it was like £180. Now it's £130. And that was only in the time space of not even a year.
I think another reason GPUs seem like they've been getting more powerful and cheaper is because games haven't been getting as graphically intensive as they were before, because games already look so good. There's not much more they can
If
really
you
do.
compare like 2004 Doom to 2016 Doom, there's a huge difference, but then again, there's a 12-year difference in between them.
Yeah, if you made like a graph going every 2 years showing the improvements in games, there'd be huge improvements. Then like the last 4 years, there wouldn't be all that much. I think that's why. graphics cards have really just become huge. Yes, budget.
It's
Budget
similar to
gaming has
Moore's
become
law because it used to be the
awesome.
case that transistor count doubled each every 2 years, I think. But now, since it's getting closer, the smallest they can make, they're slowing down a bit.
Yeah, I really wonder how much Intel and Nvidia and AMD have developed that they're just saving. They haven't showed off yet.
Yeah, they're trying. I'm assuming they're trying to slow it. I
Yeah,
don't know what they're gonna do after they hit that 5 nanometer node.
yeah, I don't know either. Hopefully there'll still be innovation because without it, it wouldn't be. That's a while away yet. I'd say several years
Yeah.
still.
I don't know if actual CPUs will start to get bigger or if they'll stack multiple CPUs under the same heat spreader somehow.
And my
But
guess
I
is
don't know.
probably just up the core count.
Yeah, so make something like there's like a 30 AMD are making a 32 core 64 thread CPU. Make each individual core as powerful as a Kaby Lake core.
Oh, that'd be unheard of. That'd be so good.
For only a £100.
Oh man. Well, wow, we've been actually streaming for almost 42 minutes. That doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah.
Do you think we should be heading out?
Yeah. So, they've we know they're working on Zen Plus, yeah. So, yeah, hope you like the first stream. It was a first time for us, so it may have been a bit all over the place, but it'll improve in the future.
Yes, we're gonna try and do this like once a month to once every second week, depending on how our schedules go.
But our schedules are already messed up as they are, at least I know mine is.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, I guess we will see you later. Whatever service you're watching on, if you're watching on something other than YouTube, go check out our YouTube channel. We make computer-related videos, and it is pretty cool. I will get Lolly to put a link in the chat. Yes.
There is a new video coming Monday about my i5 6500 build and the benchmarks following. So, yeah. Are you gonna do the outro?
Yes, I'll get that link because I don't think Lolly wants to do it. Okay, well, anyway, if you did enjoy, go check out our channel. We have lots of cool PC stuff, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.